Hello, Bingies, and welcome to the BingeWorthy Podcast, part of the Geekish Network. Now, the premise of our show is that each week we will binge watch a television series, and then we come right here to the BingeWorthy Podcast to provide you with an in-depth, informative, and always entertaining analysis about that series. And then at the end of the show, we will rate the series based on our unique perspective. My name is Johnny Randolph, but people out there, y'all can just call me Randy. And I have I have four today extraordinary co-hosts. My first co-host is an actress, a writer. She's just a general all around badass, cool person. She's the dynamic diva, the one and only Miss Cortney Scott Wright. Say hello to the people, Cortney.
Hello.
All right, and my next co-host, this guy is the chicest geek this side of the Milky Way. I call him the Sultan of Flexing because he's just hanging and chilling, doing the coolest shit. He's one half owner of the Geekish Network. He's 1/3 member of Geek Beast. Say hello to the people, Chuck.
What's up, everyone? Woohoo!
And this guy, man, it's just some people, you need to be in their good graces because this guy, he's also a writer. He's also an entertainer extraordinaire. He's 1/3 of Geek Beast. He is internationally known, globally respected. I call him the game spitter because every week on Geek Beast, every day on Geek Beast, and every week on the BingeWorthy Podcast, he is spitting that fire. Say hello to the people, Syntell.
Yo, what's cracking? You know how I know it's Wednesday? Because I get that amazing warm-up, dog.
I know it, right? You ready to come out and start boxing? Like, I
feel like Halle Berry talking to Billy Bob Thornton, talking about, make me feel
But we
good.
are not done because this week we got a special guest. And you just heard her before as the host on Geek Beast. She's somebody you just don't want to mess with because her name is literally Punch. So say hello to the people, Miss Summer Punch.
Hey. Good to be here, guys.
Welcome, everybody.
Hey, Randy. Hey, Randy, before you continue, look at your chat. I want to hear you say this. I need you to say this.
What? Look at my chat.
Look at the chat. Look at the chat. Look at the chat. You got to say this. You got to say this. I need you to say this. We're going to record this.
Live streaming. All I see, subscribe to us.
No, not that chat.
In
The Zoom chat.
As one of our elusive
Okay. This girl puts the hot in hot girl summer. Everybody, say hello to our newest addition for this week to the BingeWorthy Podcast, Miss Summer Punch.
Hey.
What's going on, Summer?
He told me to write something. I was like, I don't write the stupidest shit I can think of.
Well played.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well
stupid.
played. Well, guys, this is the BingeWorthy Podcast, and this week we are talking Castlevania seasons 3 and season 4. Last week we did 1 and 2, so I'm gonna provide you with a little guide to the premise of the show. When his wife is burned at the stake, and after being falsely accused of witchcraft, the vampire Vlad Dracula Trepes declares all the people of Wakalia will pay with their lives. Wakalia?
Wallachia.
Okay. He summons an army of demons which overrun the country, causing the people to live lives of fear and distrust. To combat this, the outcast monster hunter Trevor Belmont takes up arms against Dracula's forces, aided by the magician Cypher and Dracula's son Alucard. So that's the premise of this entire season. Now, at the end of season 2, the question that I had asked was, did Cypher shoot her shot at Trevor? And we all kind of weighed in, and Syntell gave a great explanation that said, yeah, she pretty much did, and we kind of all confirmed. So at the beginning of season 3, we see, yeah, she did shoot her shot. And they seem to be this warm lovey-dovey couple. So I'm just going to throw it out to you, Summer. What did you think of the relationship that we start off with Trevor and Cypher?
I liked it actually. I liked that they at first it felt like they really glossed over like the buildup of their relationship, but then I realized I feel like it was intentional because they didn't make that the subject of the show, the romance and the connection between them. I mean, they clearly had it. It established that they had a strong bond, that there was trust between the two of them, and they're two adults not fucking around. Like they know what they want, which I thought was kind of cool. Like, okay, it wasn't, the romance wasn't there, but I was like, that's clearly not the point of the show. And they didn't make it into a big thing. It didn't distract from, talking vampires. No.
All right.
Which is why I was watching it.
So, Cortney, how did you feel that their relationship played into the overall plot of the show?
I thought that it was more about these two nomadic people finding comfort and their perfect partner within themselves. And it's not about like them being like this lovey-dovey couple. It's like them being on a mission together and finding that person that's going to fight the battle with you. So their relationship, it was almost like they dropped us right into the everyday occurrence of these two people who were just together, solid, and they were a united force. So I thought that their relationship was everything that it was becoming in season 1 and 2, and it just kind of flowed naturally. You know what I mean? It was just the natural next step.
So you mentioned fights. Was it just me, or did it seem like Netflix dumped a shitload of money into this for seasons 3 and 4? Because I thought the animation was so crisp and it stepped it up a notch. I thought seasons 1 and 2 were great, but season 3 and 4, they seem to really up their game. Syntell, how did you feel about the quality of the animation?
Well, I think once you realize that you got a hit on your hands, they had time to get it right. I don't know how long the animation process takes. That's probably gonna be more of a Chuck question. Regarding how long you can prepare to get things done when you have a little bit more budget added. But what you're saying is right. They didn't skimp, man. It was fleshed out. Everything is constantly moving. There's not a lot of wasted still moments within those fight scenes. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun to see how each person combines their fighting style with the other, especially out of the trio. You get different fight styles depending on who's matched up together, and you get a chance to see their fight styles just grow as they've continued to grow over these past four seasons. The fighters they were in the beginning in season 1 are drastically different than the ones that you see during the final battles in season 4.
Also, I think you got more money when you get more episodes, because season 3 started when you had that's the most amount of episodes we've had thus far, because it started out with 4 episodes. Then season 2, I think we got like 8 episodes.
Yeah, season 2
and
was
then
8.
season 3 we got 10.
Yeah.
And season 3 and 4 we both got 10.
Mm-hmm.
So with the episodes, Chuck, did you think we needed 10, or was it a welcome addition? Too much, too little?
I thought it was just right, actually. I almost said it could have been shorter, but I kind of like them wandering and them discussing hunting for why is the world not settled yet. And it is everybody's trying to bring Dracula back to life. It's like, we killed him because he's trying to kill all of us. He's gonna kill all of us. Why are y'all trying to bring him back? What is the purpose of bringing him back? To kill all of us? That's why we got rid of him. So I find it very interesting that they recognize that, like, oh my God, people are trying to bring him back, and we have to stop them, and we'll never stop. You can see it wear and tear on them. So I enjoyed it, and you see Alucard, like he's heartbroken, right?
So yeah,
he's
let's
heartbroken.
transition over. Alucard, man, we found him. He's all alone in his big old palace.
He's so sad.
He's making
lonely.
fish and he getting slizzard. He drinking all that wine and got
Talking to
imaginary
dolls.
dolls. It's like, oh, what's going on? So,
Turn
Cortney,
to
I know you
Trevor.
had a big affinity for Alucard. What's going on with your man? He's struggling.
I mean, I felt so bad for him because it's like he finally got used to people. Like he really, even though like he and Trevor had this kind of like this brotherly rivalry, this loving kind of like annoyance with each other. Like he got used to Trevor and Sypha, and watching them leave, I think he wasn't aware of like how much of a presence was going to be vacant in his life, because he spent so long alone. And now it's like, okay, now I've gotten used to not being alone. I got to figure out how to be alone again. Yeah. So it was kind of sad, but then he meets those, like, was it Sumi and Taka? I think that's what they're or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He meets them, and I was like, kind of excited for him, but I was like, I don't trust these fools. Like, there's something right about them. You know what I'm saying?
Got weird.
But I was rooting for him to have little friends.
So let's talk about them, though. So, right, they show up, they're trying to hunt Alucard, and they just don't know really what they're getting themselves into. Syntell, man, what'd you think about the interaction between Alucard and I don't know, what were their names, Cortney?
I mean, I think
Sucker 1 and Sucker 2.
Sucker 1 and Sucker 2. What was your opinion of Sucker 1 and Sucker 2?
Dumb, you know what I mean?
No, man, they rolled up on a real one. That's
they
that's
did.
What that is. They thought it was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was gonna be sweet because they sensei was the truth, and she was given the circumstances and what she lived in, and they saw they saw how she got down, and when they left, talking about the dude that hung around Alucard, her sensei, the lady ninja that was killing all the samurai. So they came from the original story was that they were villagers, and then she would send out for some of the baddest samurai in the land to come and spar with, and she's playing with a fool for the most part, right? And they were mad. They're like, you just can't be coming over here snatching up our greatest warriors, embarrassing them, and then kick them to the curb. And then she got called up because Dracula was like, I got this plan. I need you to come holler at me. And they dipped. So now they on some revenge, right? They got that taste in their mouth, and here they see Alucard all but droopy, breath smelling like wine. That's like this dude, sucker written all over. He got this big old castle. He know he can't handle all that. So they try to like play to him and be kind of flirty and fun. And he teaches him how to fight and educates him. Yo, they over there eating up his food, got their feet kicked up on his sofa. And then they tried to make their move, but what they forgot, Alucard is gangster.
He is.
Kept complaining, and they're like, "You didn't teach us magic. You were gonna do us the same way that like everybody else had. Everybody else was abandoning us and used us and cry."
He loved them. He had a love triangle going. It was working for him.
Yeah,
He was like, I'm living
They're
this life.
siblings. Are
My
they
dude
not
had
siblings?
tears.
The fuck?
He had actual tears coming down his face.
He
like,
was
the
hurt.
enjoyment and the love, the enjoyment of
Yeah.
what
Well,
he was
so
feeling.
we talking about them. We get into it earlier than I thought. They tried to seduce
That
him.
was the
Like
best part of
we
season
get a
one.
threesome.
They
though.
did seduce
They
him.
did seduce
They
him. That's the
did
best part of
seduce him.
season
It
3.
was easier
She
work.
pulled off her clothes and set her boobies on his chest. I mean, got
Yeah.
real. I
said,
mean, they talk about animation.
Yeah.
Talk about
I
animation.
don't know.
Animated boobies. The first time. too.
Animated, like,
And they
really
were like,
in-depth
she was.
boobies
Yeah.
and like the whole
So-
lady
Boobies.
frame.
We
I was
never
like,
noticed,
oh,
but like it was almost like, was Alucard a virgin? Because he was really, his eyes were like, oh shit, like is it really going to go down like this?
Yeah,
For the
yeah.
son of a
He
cunt?
was kind of virginal.
Teenager.
Yeah,
He was
literally
kind of
was.
virginal.
But he
I
was a
think they took his
teenager.
virginity. I think they did.
I'll probably co-sign on that. But you know what though? They knew the cardinal rule though, right? If you're gonna kick it, ass, gas, or cash. Nobody rides for free.
Did
You
you
gotta
guys
pay
see it
that.
coming? Did you? Am I so stupid? I was like, come on. Like,
I didn't see the threesome comment. I did not see the threesome comment.
I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't expect it to be like that. I was like, oh, I mean, then when the crucifix, I mean, they went hard. Like they went in. They got real. Like those animators. I want to know how that writing room went down. Like
Man, that's what I'm saying.
Because he had one leg up, and
Yeah,
then like the
she was
tongue
all
and the
on
thigh.
him, and I was like, oh. He grabbed her ass and was like, I was like, oh shit,
It's about right.
Full-time
That's about
hentai.
that's anime. That's a little bit of hentai.
is that how it
Little
goes
bit
down to
hentai.
hit? I don't
Oh,
know. I don't
hentai's a
know.
lot worse than that.
Oh really?
Oh
Okay.
man. Oh
I
man.
thought it was dope.
Yeah.
But one of the things we want to talk about, like Alucard and his sword, like I thought when they had him tied up and they thought they were going to kill him, and Alucard with that sword, he's badass with that
in
sword
the
and that magic.
crucifix, in the crucifix position, because that's what he kind of looked like.
Yeah, he did.
I
Mhm.
mean, it was almost like he was the Messiah. They talked about him at the beginning of season 1 being like the Messiah, the savior who was going to like save all the people. And so to see him in this position, like trussed up, in this cross like figure, it was, and then talking about how he had magical instruments. He said his father never liked magical instruments, but he didn't say he didn't use them. So when the sword came through, because I was really worried for Alucard, I was like, these motherfuckers, if he goes out like this, this is a really sad place to go. Sad way.
It's Summer. Every relationship at this part that Alucard seems that he has is like tragic. Is he a tragic figure? Like, does he need to sack up a little bit and get tougher?
I mean, I think he was a little naive to not see that coming. I mean, me as a viewer, I didn't see that coming, but I'm not the Alucard, so I don't know. He has a kind of a tragic story. I mean, he had to kill his own father, like his mother is dead. His name literally means Dracula backwards. Like he's the actual opposite of everything that he was raised to be. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of tragedy in his story. And the fact that two siblings, can we talk about that part? Two siblings had sex together with him. I was just, I couldn't get over.
Yeah, they
It
were.
had to be they were siblings.
Brother and sister.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, they were. I couldn't consume anything else other than the boobies, of course, because they were. I was like, these fuckers are siblings.
I mean, they were there. You could not look at them.
I mean, that's just adding to his trauma, right? Like
that, and that shot, like when the sword came in and sliced them, and they both fell back in the same position, and the sheet covered them, like that sheer sheet. And then the very next scene, like, it's Alucard again in the crucifix position, and the next scene is Sypha and Belmont, and the upside down Jesus falls down. That writing and that transition, I was like, oh, that was dope.
There's a lot going on in that episode.
There was a combination of what was going on too, because what's his name, the chump, the simp that got
Hector.
We skipping all ahead, but let's go ahead. Go with it.
Hector's important.
Oh, episode 9 should have just been called "Putting in Work."
Yeah, go ahead, Syntell, man.
Well, I mean, that's just it. I mean, it's all about getting to the simps, and Alucard. As much as I love his sword game, it's nice. It is. The boy can box. He got them things, and he'll put them on you. But he's a sucker. He's a sucker for love. Just like Hector is a sucker. He's a sucker for the love. He ended up getting enslaved over the coochie.
He did get his skin. And it was like
he
metaphor.
did get
It was
enslaved
almost
over
like
the
a
coochie,
wedding
though.
ring, and it was like we clapping everything down, we shutting everything off, and he couldn't do
I'm
anything.
yours. Say that you're mine. I'm yours. Done.
Yeah,
Done. He was done. Done.
Duh.
He wasn't ready for that 2-century-old vampire of WAP.
Hey,
He wasn't ready for that vampire WAP. He killed him.
And it's got to be good because she tells you in an earlier episode when Hector gets out of pocket, right? And he tries to choke her, and she shakes it off, and she kind of smiles and then hops in the ring with him and gives him those fisticuffs, and she's don't get it twisted.
Exactly.
I'm
I
old,
will put you
I
out.
am ancient. Just because I'm a person that wants to put peace in these streets don't mean I'm a beast in these streets. And I promise you, the fisticuffs she put on him is probably gonna be no different than when she dropped them draws and she was doing that. She was doing the Megan Thee Stallion.
She was basically like,
back
who's
and forth
is
on
it?
him.
Like,
She's like,
Hey,
"Yo, I've been doing this
she said she practices diplomacy.
centuries.
I
And
mean,
a lot of diplomacy is sex.
She even had her boobies out. Like, I mean, she still had that dress on, but it sure did come down.
Mhm.
But wait, can I say one more thing about Alucard?
Uh-huh.
In terms of, like, it was very reminiscent of his mother's death. Because because his mother was very trusting of the people. All she wanted to do was save the people and be there to help him. And all he wanted to do was save these two people, this two brother and sister. And he trusted them just like his mother trusted the community and the town of Targovishta.
And they ratted her out.
And they ratted her out and burned her ass at the stake.
Yeah.
And so here he is trying to say, like, I never lied to you. Like, even in those last moments, he kept trying to beg them, like, I'm not the person you think I am. I am different. And then but it was nice to see that he didn't die like his mother, that he owned up into that Dracula space and came through.
So let's talk about save a puppy. Yeah. He's the guy that saves puppies. And
yeah, he is that guy.
Let's talk about a guy who wasn't a simp. Isaac. He had he moved in. He's got his own personal journey, right? His dialogue with the captain of that ship, I thought it was just
that was so
that
good.
was powerful.
It was just so great, him pulling up a story. So Syntell, I know that's your man. Tell us how you feel about Isaac's, his overall arc throughout this series.
I mean, it's been amazing to me because he starts off as a man that was, we're assuming he was enslaved, right? He was a slave. Yeah. And he loved his master. You know that from the jump, even to the point that his master was beating him, and he still loved him to the point where he was like, I got to do something for pure survival, and he broke away. Now he gets to sit at the feet of the throne of one of the most powerful men in the known world, and he's just soaking in game. And he's loyal. That's the thing I love about him. Then his master leaves, puts him on his way, and forces him to become a man. And on his path to find a man, what's that old saying back in the day? They say, when the student is ready, a master will appear, right? And the first one popped up was the sailor on the ship. You know, to me, it was almost like a father-son moment, but it was more or less like a big brother, little brother kind of respect that they have for each other. And he's pretty much telling him, you can control your own destiny. Why do you have to like punish all of these people and kind of live within the past? Go out and like find yourself. And he didn't punish him. There was two people at that time that showed him love, and that was the guy that gave him that gave him the mirror, and that showed him that there is like a bit of honesty and love and redemption within these people, and then the guy on the ship. But he also learned a valuable lesson, because when he got off the ship, the people were ready to kill him. So he still held on to his survival techniques and realized that the world is what it is, and that you can still find redeemable people. It doesn't have to be either or. And then you just keep seeing more steps like that over and over. I don't want to eat up my time, so I can talk about Isaac all day long, but it's just fun to see that level of growth within a character, like big, gigantic leaps, until you get into the very end, and he kind of fully realizes who he is, what he wants to do, and knows what his purpose is.
There was also the woman in season 3 that when he met her and she told him like what was going on in the town, like he respected her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because she said she could have killed everyone. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another part that I thought was cool, he found one of his dark soldiers, or whatever they're called, who could talk and have a conversation. I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
Chuck, what you think about that? Yeah.
I thought that was great. I thought when they were building the city and they had that conversation, and he was talking about why do you have us not acting outside our nature? And he says, for the people to come that live here.
Yeah, I liked it even before then. When the first time he was like, which one of you can talk? Yes. And the other one's like, I have memories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cortney, why don't you weigh in on that? How did you feel about that?
I just loved all the questions, because that to me really was like a father schooling a newborn baby, because he was really asking these questions because he honestly wanted to know, like, why are you having us do this? Why aren't we going out and killing people? Why aren't we? He just kept and Isaac kept patiently answering his questions, trying to teach him, trying to raise him to understand the real mission. And that was such a bad ass scene. Yeah, because it showed the growth in Isaac. Because
that's what I was gonna say.
Done. He was done with the human race. He was done with the idea of anybody being worthy of communication, worthy of growing and or changing. And here in this night creature, he found what he was looking for ultimately. And I think that actually fashioned his trajectory and path in order to even forgiving Hector.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
know
Because
like
that was
for a
such
fact.
a deep journey.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
because
was good.
old Isaac would, when he started asking him all of those questions, Isaac would have killed his ass and replaced him with
Exactly.
somebody else.
Because when Isaac comes through, that moment that Isaac comes through, and he's like so full of rage and revenge, and all he wants to do is find Hector, to the transition of the man that he is when he's sitting in there having that conversation with that night creature. It was a complete transition. And I
Mhm.
loved his arc was the deepest for me.
I loved it. I loved it.
I agree.
And with the blueberry scene too, like he gives him a blueberry. He's like,
Yes.
have a
Yeah.
And the
fucking blueberry.
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
A
jogs his
blueberry.
memory, and he says something to the extent of like, do you feel like as a night creature, if you're capable of like remembering these things, don't you think you're capable of something more than just destruction too?
Yeah.
And then he asks, which by the way, I loved that like you could tell that the night creature, he had like reduced capabilities. He wasn't quite as fluent or capable as a human, but he did have enough to speak, which aided that conversation because he was asking simple questions to the extent of his abilities, right? But the questions were so profound that it didn't matter the limitations of what he could actually say. The conversation led it to something much greater. And then Isaac tells him, he asks, like, why are we doing something against our nature? And then Isaac asks, like, well, maybe that's just your nature because that's the only thing that you've ever known and been taught.
And
Yeah,
Isaac, even though he's giving him game, he still lets him know I could get rid of a creature who can't eat berries at the same time. So he's still dealing with that dichotomy of like power and evolution. I just thought his overall arc was
the evolution part. That was
Yeah.
the whole character dynamic between the two, just perfect.
I think it
Go ahead,
comes
Chuck.
into another part where it's like when Hector talks to Lenora about strength and power. And I think that Isaac's always showed power. And when he faced with Hector, he showed strength. And that's a realization that happened. Like Isaac's always showed off his power. He's a badass. I'm a badass. Everything I do, I can handle everybody in the room but Dracula. I'm not worried about these other vampires. You know, he wasn't worried about Camilla. He was like, you're just a vampire and y'all can die just as easy as we can die.
Well,
because
go
he
ahead.
never wanted
Go ahead,
to.
Courtney.
Oh no, he never wanted to control Dracula. He always saw himself and Dracula as equally matched. And it was like he respected him enough to always want to hear his plan and hear the journey and what was the mission. Because I think Isaac was seeking a mission, someone to give him something to believe
He was seeking
in.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, he was seeking purpose. And then he found his own purpose. You know, and I think that ultimately that's the journey that every single character discovered within this series. Even Hector discovered a way to get around the essentially like the shackle that Lenore put on him, and he was still preparing the castle because he knew that Isaac was coming. He knew someone was coming, even though he had been working with that other character who he didn't know ultimately was Death, you know, and preparing to bring Dracula back in order to undo what he did that was wrong. He knew he was going to have to give his life ultimately, and he was ready to make that sacrifice, if only to undo the wrong that he knew that he committed by trusting Carmela.
Okay, so we skipped around a little bit. So we got to talk about Carmela, Lenora. What were the other two? What were the other two sisters?
Oh, the two. No, they weren't sisters. They were a couple.
They were a couple.
No,
well, I call them sisters because that's what they called each other. Like they're clique.
Oh,
they called
each
other
those two
sisters.
were wives.
Yeah, they were two. So
yeah.
So Troy, what'd you think about the group of sisters?
I like a bit of the dynamics. The main one, oh man, I'm sorry about the names. The one that put the hatched the plan. I mean, we got a taste of her in
Camilla. Camilla's the one who hatched the plan.
Carmilla.
Right. We got a taste of her in season 1 and how she's able to see the big picture. She's forward thinking. The only reason why she lost is because of just an unseen circumstance. She's just a powerful individual. And then when we really get a chance to see how her other 3 sisters are in the mix, sisters are in the mix, you can see how the power can spread to everybody knowing their role. You have your general, you have your diplomat, you have your master thinker per se, who knows how to like build the infrastructures that make these kingdoms run. And they all wanted to expand their power and also, create some type of longevity. I guess for me, maybe like expanding namesake or whatever it is, because you're dealing with vampires who live eternal, like they never end. So they had to figure out a way to get these ducks in a row and not be pigeonholed to one spot. And that comes with a lot of trials and tribulations. All these pieces had to move together, and it was just interesting to see them disagree, but still find resolution. How one looks up to the other. Everybody kind of like knew their role. I thought it was just some fun writing regarding these women and these female characters and in a role that's just not one dimensional as a group. There was so many different facets to how they got down, and it was fun to me.
Yeah. Courtney, I know the characterization of women and how they're portrayed in stories. I know that's important to you. So how did you think about the dynamic of the sisters and how the writing was for this series for them?
I thought it was phenomenal because you really get an opportunity to see women in this diplomatic arena that they've set up, that, like Syntell said, everybody had their role and everybody stayed in their lane. Like they it was like they built this empire, because even Carmilla said in the original, in the first 2 seasons, or in season 2, that she was like, this is what we do in our town that we have created has been the most successful of all the vampire, because we think about it differently. We have succeeded. I think that the general character and Lenore started to feel like there wasn't a place for her anymore, because diplomacy, as Carmilla's plans were ever evolving, right. It's like there was no more diplomacy necessary. It wasn't needed for her to go out and talk and spit game and hustle people in order to like follow the cause. It was really about just this plan that Carmilla had, which was interesting to me, that Lenore and even the 2 wives started to kind of question and abandon the thinking, yet they still followed through. They still followed the plan. But it's like, this was Carmilla's always her plan, to enslave the human race and basically
that's why she went to
them.
Support Dracula.
And then it's just Lenore got cold feet when she was like, I want to take over the world, not just Wallachia.
I like that they
hold up, wait, what?
they managed to walk a fine line too, between like having 4 women, important characters, each defined by their own unique traits, disagreeing with each other without ever appearing like catty or anything like that, which I felt like I was just waiting for that to happen, because I was like, I can see where this is going. This shit always happens in shows, but it didn't happen. Their disagreements were valid. And even though they didn't necessarily completely align the plan, they still stuck together until the very end.
Always
and the only reason why this exactly. And then they only broke off after it was pretty much already done.
And they never hated each other. Like even to the end, they never said, anything really horrible about it, or like thinking about backstabbing. And I can get that. Like we run a kingdom, right? We run a kingdom together. We all have our strengths. And then Camilla's like, well, we're gonna take over the whole damn world. Like, well, we gonna take over the whole world? Like, we gonna kill all the humans? I get the livestock. I get the livestock, right? We need to feed and things like that, but we don't necessarily need to kill them all. So,
which is interesting, because that was Dracula's plan. But
I was just about to say,
plan from the beginning, and Carmilla was against it. And so now she's back on track. Like, okay, maybe he had some insight.
But I'm not mad at her, because there was a vacuum, and somebody's got to fill it. Why not us? Why not?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
She's like, we're thinking big.
I know.
Big dude is gone.
But it was more than that.
Worthy of the throne, so it's our turn now. And
I think that's valid.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Summer.
It was more than that, just a power vacuum. Like there were other things that motivated her pursuit of literal world domination. It was anger. Like she got angry. She got mad.
Anger.
And you could see it spin out and out and out until it just exploded into something, into a master plan, and then even bigger than that. And then she goes into all these stories about like how men are fucking trash, which okay,
it was like reverse what is it, reverse misogyny. Like I don't know what it's called when you hate all things male, but that was Carmilla.
But
Yeah, and she had a reason to too, because like she was genuinely smarter than all of them. She was smarter, she was stronger, she was more capable, she had more resources, she was more strategic, all of these things. And then on top of that, the stupid bullshit bad experiences that she had, she was like, these men don't fucking deserve the power that they have, which I can see, I can understand what she would
this
be
15th century,
pissed.
right? 15th century Europe, it was not a good time to be a woman in 15th century Europe. I mean, I can see it.
But also, I mean, when she talked to Lenore, like she recognized, Carmilla recognized, we have a whole lot of skills that the men that were in control don't have. I infiltrated their court. I was the smartest person in their court. I was smarter than the person that ran their court. And they couldn't do it. And I got 3 other women that are just as smart as me, just as brilliant. Oh, yeah. One's a militarist, one's a strategist economist, and one's a diplomat to talk to the humans we decide to make livestock. And we could run this way better than they can. And that was her thinking. And she's like, Nora, we were subject to men when we were humans. Then we were subject to vampire men when we became vampires. Mm-hmm. And now we could just take over and make all of them the subjects.
Yo, like Goonie, it's our time.
It's our time. Here. That's right.
Right now.
And you kind of get the feeling, Camilla, like you always saying, she's been a woman. Camilla, she's been oppressed or treated like women were treated, unfortunately. You kind of get the idea she's saying never again. It reminded me of like Megatron and Transformers, where he was like, I'm never going to be enslaved again. So Camilla, now that she has this power, this authority, she's like, never again. We are never going back to that ever.
And her battle scene in season 4, her death scene, that was flawless. It was, that's what I was talking about last week. And I said one of the fight scenes that is the best fight scene that I have seen. She put in work.
The name of the episode was "You Don't Deserve My Blood."
You don't deserve my blood.
I was like,
even in her eyes, her eyes changed color. I mean, she slayed in heels. Never got a drip on her dress. She slayed. I was so proud of her. Like I was rooting for her.
I like that.
Netflix up the animation game because the visuals for that was just freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Is that I bled for this. It wasn't her blood, but she bled. She gave her blood, sweat, and tears for that moment. And
so
she
Chuck
showed what she was worthy of.
Yep, absolutely. So Chuck, we've talked about which one stands out to you? Other the sisters, which one stands out to you?
Other sisters, I do like Striga and Marana, but mine is Lenore, because Lenore was the calm one. She played shy and dainty, but she was raw power too. And I just thought she was pretty badass, and I like the way her final scene. Like, you think I'm gonna be a caged bird in here with you? You think I'm gonna be caged? Do you think this is where I'm gonna live? Nah, this is not where I live. I don't even belong here. I want to see this sun that you talk so much about, that you all humans go about.
You silly boy. This is all it is.
Yeah. And she said, y'all bump around. We want stability. And he was like, what do you mean y'all want stability? She said, y'all bump around for 60 years. I've been here for centuries.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that she went that way out, though. A little bit.
It hurt me because that was my girl. Because I understand. Because she was humane.
But I'm like, you were so capable. I'm like, that's the way you're gonna go. I was like, that was the choice. That was the one. I was just like,
But it was on her terms, though.
That's what I thought. I thought it made sense.
Yeah. She took death on her terms.
She did everything she could.
Right.
Like Isaac just came in with more creatures than she could handle on her own, but she beasted almost half of his army. What was left?
And I thought it wasn't cowardly because
he only won because he had the night creatures.
Right. Because the sun is the most powerful thing to destroy them. And the fact that she went to the thing that was so devastating to them, and that's the way she chose to go out.
Wait,
just like
Lenore or Carmilla?
Lenore. I'm talking about Lenore.
Okay, wait.
Talking about Lenore.
Lenore Syntell?
I
Yeah,
thought
I was talking about
yeah, he
Lenore.
was talking about
She
Lenore.
went
Oh,
into
you're
the
talking about
sun.
Lenore. Oh,
I was
I'm
talking
sorry.
about Lenore. I was a
talking
little
about
disappointed
Carmilla.
in how she
Yeah.
didn't know. Carmella
Right.
went out like a gangster.
Yeah,
She,
Car-
okay,
yeah,
I was
Carmella
like,
went out
darn,
against. I
okay,
was talking
I
about
thought-
Carmella was
Lenore.
Scarface.
Yeah.
Got it. She was. Okay.
Lenore.
I'm talking
Okay.
about Lenore took
Okay,
her
I was
own life.
confused for a second.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
she took her own
what?
life. I thought it was an
Yeah.
Yeah, I
amazing
thought
scene.
going into the
I thought it
sun
was
was like, yeah, it wasn't a cowardly way to go. So she's like, I'm doing the
Y'all know what it
shit.
reminded me
She's
of?
on her own terms.
Yeah, if y'all haven't
Mhm.
seen it, it was True Blood, the way Godric died. And
Yeah.
Godric was the
Forgot
friend of
about that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And he was like, let them kill me.
He was
And
Eric's master. He
Eric's
turned
master.
Eric way back into
Yeah.
Vikings. So yeah.
Yeah, when he was a Viking. And he was like,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
walked with Jesus and he was like, this is how I die. Let them have their
Yeah.
way. They need this. These humans need to
Yeah.
die in order for us to be at peace.
So
Shit.
would you consider him? This is for you, Chuck, because I know you
Mhm.
you know a little bit more than me regarding Japanese culture and samurai culture.
Mhm.
The way Lenore went out, is that like a form of like ritualistic seppuku?
Hidakiri, yeah, it's kind of like that way she went out and let herself die. I think so. She didn't want to be caged, right? Like honestly, Hector really couldn't cage her. She
I
was
don't
right.
even think he was trying.
I don't
I'm
think so
thinking
neither.
He kept her in the cell just because he needed her to calm down. He needed her to not to subjugate her, but he needed.
He was protecting her too.
I think he was protecting. Yeah, some good
He was
point, Sherman. I
attempting
thought he was
to, and then
because
loved
he
her.
know
just
Isaac
walked
would.
through.
Yeah,
He
Isaac
loved
would
her.
kill her without hesitation.
But
and he was
Isaac
protecting
agreed
her.
not to.
Yeah,
Isaac
I think it wasn't for Isaac. I think he just didn't want her in a while. I mean, she loved him. She
Yeah.
did love that.
I mean,
man.
they both loved each other.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
They
the
did.
Was
cage.
this
she
a toxic
put in.
love or was this real love?
Oh,
Was
it was
this
Yeah,
toxic.
I got questions
I
about
mean,
that.
it was like Stockholm syndrome. you
Yeah,
know,
it was
like
kinda
Hector-
toxic, right?
Hector kind of
Yeah.
like
Hey,
he fell in love with her under duress.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that's
like
rapey.
ultimately, like when they were chilling and just having that conversation,
he loved
and
her.
she was just telling him about, like just explaining to him about her life and
Mm-hmm.
and everything, the plan that she had, and her sisters weren't there. This wasn't the plan. This
Yeah.
wasn't my plan to be here with you,
No.
like
Mhm.
just kind of like hanging out, and are you gonna keep me like the way that I ultimately was trying to keep you? Now the tables have turned. No, sir,
No,
you
I-
like
It's
12,
beneath her.
and it's not. It was beneath her.
It was
And
Yeah.
it was
beneath
like,
her.
I'm going to, I want to see the sun. I haven't seen it in so
Yeah.
long. And if I'm going to, these are my options, I choose death. I
Well,
choose what's
yeah.
next.
Well,
He
Hector gave her the. I mean, he didn't try to constrain
He
her,
didn't
right?
constrain
Like,
her, no.
yeah,
She was staying there out of love.
Yeah.
And she
Absolutely.
chose not to be with him
Which,
because he
can we
wasn't
talk
going to
about
hold
that
her.
for a second?
He had no issues in holding. He couldn't hold her. He's a human,
Nah.
and she could have just killed him.
No, right. Yeah, we already
Yeah,
know.
I
She
think
already
she
put them
chose
hands
She
on.
herself.
him.
already put them hands on him. She's
She
badass.
chose herself.
She
over
chose.
him.
Syntell, did
you
you have
know?
something?
Over anything. She chose
Syntell, did you have
herself.
something, man?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, I wouldn't say all that about Isaac because Isaac went like head to head with Carmela and held his own. So let's not say that he ain't capable. I just
I
don't
mean,
think
I think he's
just-
capable, but he loved that girl, so I think he would let her kill him.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
He was
Hold
willing.
on,
He was
Isaac or
willing.
Hector?
Isaac
talking
was
about-
no. We're talking about Hector.
Oh,
Hector was
Hector.
willing to
Hector.
die for her.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because
Yeah,
Hector,
sorry.
because when
You
Isaac
said-
came
you
into
said
the
Isaac
room,
and you meant Hector.
because
Okay.
when Isaac came into the room, he said, "Leave her alone. She's caged.
Right.
Come and kill me."
And
He-
but he
he was-
still questioned it a little bit.
He did, but he
I
was
came here to-
willing to die. He was like, "I didn't
Yeah.
think this far ahead." He said, "I didn't think this part out. He's gonna let me live.
We
I thought
talked-
he was gonna kill
Yeah,
me."
he was like, I planned to die. This was
Yeah.
on. This was.
Right.
the
He was
whole
planning to die in
journey.
order for her to
This
live.
was it.
Don't kill
Hector's a
her.
fucking
Kill.
chump. Like,
Well, he was like, you came for me, so I
Right.
want you to keep your focus
Yeah.
on me.
yeah,
know,
and
like,
Isaac
I was the
respected that
end game.
He
too.
respected it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the
Mhm.
coolest things I thought was when the military one, when she
Frida.
developed a suit that they could go out into the sun, the vampire.
Yes.
I thought that was
Yeah.
I
really
forgot
good.
about that part.
That was
Yeah,
good.
I was like, oh shit.
She
She
was the Terminator.
yeah, she was
Yeah,
and
she was.
and even like I love these characters because like they're complicated. She had loyalty to Camilla and her plan, but she was even saying to herself, I'm a soldier. I can go on killing for eternity.
Mhm.
But when does it end? When does
When
it
does it
end?
end?
Right? So
Yeah.
like she's like, today I went out and killed farmers.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
not a military match for me.
Yeah.
And we can just keep on doing this. So it's like, even then, it was this complication, this dichotomy that I enjoyed between.
Yeah, like
all of the characters.
Striga and Marana came together. They were like, if Carmilla went down, they knew she died. They're like, oh, Lenore's gone. Let's think about this. Do we really want to go back up in here?
Yeah, that was a dope
Do
conversation.
we really want to go into war again? We can
Right.
escape all this. We could be
Mhm.
us together.
Mm-hmm.
And everything they did was valid. Like every time they introduced a concept in this series, you're like, yeah, I can see that. Why
Yeah.
would you want to spend your whole life, going to war?
Yeah.
We live thousands of years. Why are we gonna do that? Like
Yep.
Camilla, I love her, but sometimes she's batshit crazy. Like when we get away from her, we get a chance
Sometimes.
to think, right? We get a chance to
Yeah.
think, and we like, yeah, she's crazy. So we've
Yeah.
talked about the sisters enough. Let's go to another like badass female character that I thought was Cypher. Her power game in this
OP.
this series was just, oh, she took it to another level.
Level.
She got new powers
Yeah,
too.
she did.
Yeah.
She got new
Yeah,
powers
she
along the
did.
way.
When she hit that
But I
electricity,
mean-
I was like, ooh. The
She was so
electricity.
good. She was so good. It was hard to believe that her and Trevor were actually partners because it's like she is so much more powerful than him.
Mhm.
And you see him struggling too. I think it was at the beginning of season 3 where he's just like literally trying to punch. He's like trying to punch a night creature. And then
Mhm.
she's like flying in on her hand jets and
Ice,
like
yeah.
throwing icicle spears through everybody. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you got to step up your game and
Mhm.
contribute because she is carrying the show right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was it was like tired, or Trevor's exhaustion. He was just so exhausted by the fact that this is our existence, like almost
Well-
kind of like what they were saying, like when does it, like Striga told Morano, like when does it end? It's like Trevor was like, this is our entire existence, but we did get an opportunity to see them in season 4 we saw them in the romance moment, kind of like the afterglow, when they'd had, you knew that they had like made love or like whatever, and they still were like getting ready for like, okay, I guess we got, what's next.
And we got to remember
Hop
too,
in.
at the beginning of season 3, right? It takes place about 6 weeks after the event of season 2. Trevor's still a drunk. Like he's got to get all this shit out of his system. So he hasn't spent most of his life as a warrior, right? He's adapting. Whereas, Cypher, she's out there doing her thing.
Yeah, but then they meet, when they meet Saint Germain, and that whole season 3, that whole thing about like the governor and the killing the little kids and like
Mm-mm.
the
Yeah.
the other, what's the other reality called that Saint Germain is trying to get to find his
The
little girlfriend?
corridor.
The eternal corridor.
The eternal corridor.
Yeah, the eternal corridor.
Infinite corridor.
Infinite corridor.
Infinite corridor. And I was like, that whole scenario in season 3, I was like, where are we going with this? Like, who is
Well,
this dude?
I got a question.
That's
And
what
Chuck,
I'm
I'm
saying.
gonna ask you. Chuck, I'm gonna ask you. Was it hell that they were in, or was it alternate dimension? And the reason I asked that was because why was Lisa in hell if it was hell?
Lisa was in hell because she was married to Dracula.
So that automatically is a hell sentence.
That gets a hell
Yeah.
sentence.
A
Yeah,
really
she had
good
Dracula's
point.
child. She instantly goes to hell. And
Damn, that's fucked up.
And Satan doesn't
Fact.
mess with her. She prays the Dark
Yeah.
Lord. She's in love with the Dark Lord, so she goes to hell.
So Jesus ain't stepping in. We like, why she was a good person? and
No.
something like that?
I
She
mean,
like, nah.
she knew her husband fed on blood.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
He was helping
a
people
vampire.
live and shit.
She-
Like,
You-
damn,
don't matter.
that
He
sends you to
wasn't
hell.
like he
Was
was
she
trying
trying to
to
help a
walk
sinner?
around for like a
Right,
week.
that sends you to hell. To hell.
She was married
I thought
to.
she
She
was
was
trying to
married. She
redeem
was married
him,
to
though.
the Lord
She's
of
married-
Darkness.
she
Yeah,
gave birth
right.
to
Yeah,
Blade.
I don't think that's how
She
religion
basically
worked in that
gave
show
birth to
too.
Blade, you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Man,
there's
so,
one moment where
like,
the night creatures
Go ahead.
where the
Sam,
night
go ahead.
creatures came in and they're like, your God is disgusted with you and your behavior. So I feel like that was a little bit of like recoloring of what we see as religion. Like, I don't know if being a good person is enough to get into heaven. And also
Yes,
God clearly shows that, that he's vengeful or that he just like doesn't give a fuck about humans because
I
he did
guess he
abandon them. And then
doesn't.
there was that whole other that church thing, whatever the fuck they were, that rose and started worshiping Satan. And even they acknowledged, they're like, God is we were wrong. We were wrong.
they
and
were the
Satan
creature
is where
down
it's at."
below. Like they were worshiping that creature down below that was the doorway into the infinite corridor.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
which
we gotta
was
talk about the
creepy.
judge, right? Syntell, man, what you feel about the judge?
Oh my God.
He was the head of the town that they were
I
in.
mean, he was the
Oh.
one who was killing little kids.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
He was
judge.
the ones that got on his nerves. The kids that got on his nerves.
Yeah, what you
For
think
Basically,
about,
running. For
what you think
running
about
fast.
with the judge, Syntell, man?
Oh, you know what? No. I'm gonna lateral this
And
over
they
the court.
kept their shoes.
Yeah, Court, you
Kept the
you
shoes,
answer
yep.
that one for me,
That's
just because I
weird.
think it'll be way more
thing.
intriguing.
He,
Please.
you know, it's like we wanted to root for the judge because we kind of understood that he thought he was doing what was best for his town, trying to protect his people. But then when you found out, you know, like he asked Trevor to like, you know, just burn the building down because he didn't want anybody to find out like what he had been doing, which was he's murking little kids for just not obeying him.
I
Yep.
think he was just murking little kids. Period.
Well, he
Yeah.
he was a murderer. Ultimately, he
Yeah.
was a serial killer.
Mhm.
And he
Mhm.
got caught up, honestly, the judgment that he had for the people who were the devil worshippers was kind of secondary to his own machinations, which were insane, you know. And it's like they got a hell creature down there and then they worshiping that, but you're kind of worse than the hell creature because
Right.
you're murking children.
So
And
he
then
was trying to do
their
something
shoes.
good with them, though. Like his overall objective was good to tamp down that weird psycho church. But
Exactly.
he also
He
did
was
evil
murdering
shit. So
kids.
does that mean that he's clearly lawful, right? Because he's like not in my fucking town. So that's a lawful element of him.
Mhm.
Is he lawful neutral or lawful evil because
He's
of
lawful evil. You killing kids and then
he's
take
lawful
their
evil.
their shoes for souvenirs
maybe he
and
just
trophies.
doesn't seem to think of it or register it as
Yeah.
maybe necessarily an evil thing though. So is he like malicious or is he
Yes.
just
I
trying to
think
keep
so.
control?
I gotta say, yeah.
I feel like
gotta
he's
say
lawful
yes.
neutral.
Okay, if you cheating on your wife and you're trying to do good shit, it's like, okay, you're complicated. You're killing fucking kids and you're doing good shit.
I mean, it's
no
not one
redemption.
kid.
It's
It's not
none,
even
right?
2 kids. He had like 20
okay,
pairs of
Right.
shoes.
Yeah. It's no
Okay,
coming back
there's
for that.
no redeeming that. I
Yeah.
don't care how many people
Someone's
Right.
trying to
you wanna
ride
say
with him. Like I
in your
ride with the
church.
judge. I
You
ride
trying
with
to
Right,
murder?
no, you can't. No, you
murder
can't.
kids.
Kill them
You
damn
can't.
kids. Keep the town alive. Kill them
redemption
damn
for
Trying to
that.
keep- he had a job
Like,
to do.
you know,
He
in
was very
Trevor's
serious, but that's a
face.
good-
He did have a job to do, but like there's
Trevor's
some things you
face
can't
was
do.
everything.
Yeah, if he was embezzling from the town, it's like, okay, you know, he's a gambler, he's
Yeah.
a cheater. It's like,
He were
okay,
killing
it's
men.
complicated, right? But you
He were killing
kids,
grown men
dog.
because they were doing bad things. You know what I mean? That's Dexter. Because we love to hate Dexter.
Right. Yeah.
But
And-
these little kids weren't doing anything but running.
yeah.
They were breaking the law.
Yeah, man, they was scratching symbols in his walls. Come on, man,
They're
respect the
breaking
wall.
the law.
Tell them,
Wow.
tell them,
Shut up,
Syntell and
shut
Summer.
up.
Tell them.
Be drawing on my walls.
Don't be
Shut
drawing on the
up.
walls.
But
Drawing
Yeah,
the wall
keep in
is
mind.
death.
After they discover this, though, this has a significant impact on Cypher
does.
and
It
Trevor.
does.
And it really changes them. Like, Chuck, how do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think about that? Like, after they discover that the judge, somebody that they trusted and thought was an ally, was really out there killing kids.
I think it showed the impact that people are still messed up. People can do good things and still be bad people. And
it's like, who are we trying to save?
yeah. Who's important here?
Why are we
Go ahead.
trying to save?
Summer's
people?
burning out. What you got,
I
Summer?
gotta take. I think that Trevor and Sypha were the opposite of Isaac, right? Isaac started out thinking everybody was evil and nobody was redeemable
Mhm.
and that the world
Mm.
was bad. And then Trevor and Sypha, they clearly think the opposite. Like they're out to save the world.
The people
And
that are
then
good
they
in the
get
world.
this shock of reality and see that like the world is fucked up. And you know, they handle it in a different way. But I thought that
Mhm.
was and it was around the same time too. They just completely switched like dispositions about what they thought the world was.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was an
Well,
interesting
it ran
parallel.
Like the
into
world,
more
like we
of a
saved the whole
rotation of
entire
people
world from
that kind of,
Dracula,
like,
but the
Their
world wants
default
to
was
bring
good.
him back.
Right.
Like,
Right, the
world-
world wasn't bringing back, but I think Sypha still held on to her mission as a speaker because
Mhm.
even when they got into season 4, like even after everything they saw with the judge, like when they went into that town, when they went back to like Targovishta, like her whole thing was with
Mhm.
the black woman who was the royal guard. The head of the royal guard, she was like, you need to be
Crazy.
teaching these people. Like, what are
Mhm.
you doing? You're not taking care of your town. You can't just be down in the basement taking care of the king and queen and just letting
That was
people
creepy.
die.
That was
You know
That
what
was
I
crazy.
mean?
fucking weird.
Like so
Yeah.
Sypha still held on to her humanity and her hope for
Yeah.
humanity.
Yeah,
where
but
Trevor
she was
kinda
definitely
like,
darker though. She was definitely
Yeah,
darker.
she
in
was
that
darker.
experience.
she was
Mhm.
more aware.
She
She was
realized
more
people-
aware of the
Yeah.
dark
It
side.
wasn't
that
all
shit went-
rainbows, and he
It broke
her naivety,
messed
yeah.
up.
Right.
Her good. There's goodness in everybody. There's natural goodness in everybody. I think that's part of what was
I think he
dead.
died.
She
Yeah.
Even
realized it
Trevor
had to be
stopped
taught.
shaving it. Like they
It
get a
had to be
little
taught.
rougher and stuff around the edges, I thought.
Yeah.
After that.
I
Yeah,
think
And
the
that shit with the
overall
king and
tone-
queen was just go ahead,
Yeah.
Syntell.
No, I was gonna say I think the
Finish
big
that thought,
overall-
Randy. What was it? Ridiculous?
Crazy.
Dead king
No, I
and
was gonna
queen.
say I thought a big overall tone of the show in general is just the power of just belief and how it can warp you.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of good intentions that go on in this show. Regarding the sister regarding the king and queen, she was so worried about maintaining the dogma and the status quo that she was willing to let her people die, and the peoples who maintained the kingdom.
Yeah, that's
the
why
most
you
important,
have
the most
sovereigns.
important asset, but because of the belief,
Yeah.
it clouded the judgment. The belief of the crazy dude housing the monster in the basement of the church. I mean, even when old
Yep.
boy told him, it was like, yo, you know what that symbol means? It means sulfur, which means it's a devil worshiping sign. He was like, man, but that's a devil worshiping thing. He's like, yeah, well, we're already here, so I guess that's what we are. It's like
Exactly.
it's like they were
Yeah,
so
it's
all
crazy.
in. It's like I refuse to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Even in the very beginning, in the very first episode in the first season, when you talk about the demise of Dracula's wife, it's the belief is so hard. That priest, like, it's one thing that you think that he's hustling the people because he's going to get money or whatever it is. No, he really believed, like, this is God's house, even though there is real danger right outside and there's demons and devils all over the place. And the man in the sky that's emblazed in fire said, I'm going to wipe everybody out in a year. He's like, nah, this belief that I got is going to, it's going
Right.
to
Yeah, and that's a good point, Syntell,
Yeah.
man. Everybody's belief drives them to do really stupid shit throughout this. series.
Right, because even with the guard, like her belief, she forgot what the idea of a monarchy is. It's like the people don't serve the monarchs. The monarchs and the sovereigns work for the people. It is a job. They are here for the people. So ultimately, you represent the people. So like, what are you doing housing these two dead corpses, pretending like they're still alive to all these people outside who are actually dying? So I kind of felt Cypher on that. Like,
Oh no,
you
absolutely.
gotta understand, and I know you did too. But like, I'm just saying, like, you gotta understand. But I think my favorite part of that whole scene is that Cypher's doing all this like lecturing and preaching and trying to reach this chick, and Trevor's over here like, look at what I found. He over here pocketing shit. Like, oh, look, I
Yeah.
ain't seen this in a while. Is this?
There's
Oh,
gold
this might
everywhere.
be.
So,
Let me just go
all right,
ahead and put this together.
we've got Chuck. Did you have something to say?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, so we're getting towards the end. All right. So to me, like, what did you guys think about Trevor coming back and Dracula and Lisa coming back? Because I thought it was some bullshit. I thought that I didn't want to see Trevor come back, or if I didn't want to see Trevor come back, I didn't want to see Dracula and Lisa come back. I thought, like, we killed them. Let them be, and let's move on. We did a whole series about them. So it's like, I thought they just threw in a happy ending to
No.
in this
They
series.
come back in the
after.
video game.
Do they? I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Dracula's always coming back in the video game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you feel like it's cool?
Yeah. I feel like a video game ending.
It ain't a video game though. It's
But it's based on a video game. It's based on Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse.
all right.
I mean, I
And-
kind of felt. We'll go ahead, Syntell.
it'll be quick. I'm with you, Randy. I thought it was kind of whack. I thought to me I thought a better closer is, okay, old girl's knocked up, so she's probably gonna have another hybrid baby. Obviously,
Hybrid
my
baby?
man, yeah, well, not hybrid baby, excuse me,
Trevor.
baby.
Yeah.
humans-
a
a human
vampire
speaker
hunting
baby?
baby. Human speaker
Oh.
baby would probably with like hunter tendencies, like a hybrid between her skill set and his skill set.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. You got Dracula's son, who's immortal, so he's not gonna, he'll still be around by the time the kid grows up. So why do we still need Trevor around? Let him die right off into the sunset. He did a noble deed, and it kind of just got watered down when you brought him back. I was
That
like,
was a
man,
badass fight, though.
the kid was the
He's
easy
great.
out. They had a kid. It's the easy out. We can
Right.
Yeah.
And the fight is how he should have went out as a badass vampire
The
hunter.
Fight,
exactly.
I mean, like that fight was when we really got to see who Trevor was. It's like we've been watching Cypher be a badass for the entire season, and this was
Mhm.
his one moment. It's like for me, like I loved the reunification of our Holy Trinity of Cypher, Trevor, and Alucard, because that was the whole thing I was waiting on. I'm like, when are they gonna get back together? When is the
Alucard was
band
so
gonna get
happy.
back together? I was so happy, right? I was ready for that. And so then when the moment that Alucard found out that, okay, folks then infiltrated my castle when I was trying to do good. Again, I'm trying to save these little human village. I got me a little girlfriend now. And I'm trying to bring back my mom and daddy. Like, the fuck? Come on, man. Like, again, in my room? Can we just leave my room alone? I'm like, why y'all in my baby room? Like, that whole moment for me. I didn't get enough of them together. So I was honestly, I really sobbed when Trevor died. I was mad at Saint Germain for trying to bring a hermaphrodite version of his mom and daddy back. I was really bothered by that. So with the fact that Saint Germain had one redeeming moment where he found a way to use the infinite corridor to save Trevor, I was okay with that because I was really sad that Trevor died.
I
what
was
about
okay
you?
with it.
Are
I
you
like
fine
happy
with you fine with Trevor
I like a
living
happy
in?
ending. I was like,
Oh
okay,
Lord,
damn, baby.
You know,
I mean, he had an infinite quarter. Why
tell
not
me
use
there,
it?
man.
And then like Saint Germain's like back and forth, like he's trying to help, he's trying to
same
end
for his little raggedy
everything.
girlfriend.
But then he's
who
like,
probably wasn't
never
real.
mind. Yeah, on his last breath, he's like, okay, fuck it, I'll save Travis. It was like, that part was irritating to me. But
Saint
I
Germain was
liked Trevor
irritating.
showed up. I was so sad. I
Death was
literally cried.
irritating.
Mhm.
Death was
He
some
was a
drunk
sucker
ass pirate.
since the beginning of
Death
Some
was
season
drunk
just
ass
three.
like-
pirate.
Nah, man. All right, Chuck, what about you, man? I know you cool with Dracula because you said it's the video game. but
Yeah,
you
I mean
know,
Dracula lives. He's in
Yeah.
all the video games
I
for
thought
the
it was.
most part.
So, what about Trevor?
Trevor, they could have left Trevor dead for me, but I didn't mind seeing Trevor come back. I was like, they should just let him die, and let Alucard train his son.
Yes,
And,
exactly. That's what I'm
and that's what
You know,
they
because
should have
Sypha
done.
decided to stay in town. Sypha decided to stay in the village.
Yeah, and so
it's
he,
like-
He was gonna be a good friend to her.
yeah, and he would know
take
that
care of the
he has the
baby.
Belmont estate there. The Belmont
Right.
house
Yeah.
is there, so the boy could learn.
Yeah,
The
for-
mother's a speaker, so he'd be very learned boy, and he'd be learning
Right.
to fight through Alucard.
Yeah, man.
Um,
And so for a series, it took so many risks, and it was so in your face, and
Yeah,
all the characters were realistic. It was like then they give us the shitty happy ending with
you
everybody,
know-
all the heroes living.
You know what I was mad about? I was mad that Dracula and Lisa.
Summer's like,
Well,
I liked all the heroes living.
I like a
Leave us
happy
alone.
ending. What's wrong with that?
I like them.
felt
I like
good.
the heroes living. I could have done without Dracula and Lisa, given the fact that they were deadbeat parents. Your fucking son is a teenager, okay? He's a fucking teenager, and you like, you know what? He gonna be okay. No, bitch, he's not gonna be okay.
Right.
You his mama. You died at the fucking stake. What are you doing? Go get your child, and you just okay? Like hang up in some like little
Yeah.
raggedy ass like
See, I-
saloon.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
contrived to me.
man.
All,
That
all,
was- that
all
was
three of those
stupid.
storylines were contrived to me. All right,
Are they
guys,
just
come
going
on.
to be
we-
in hiding too? Like what was the plan with them?
How
I
you
just
in
didn't.
hiding with teeth like that?
No,
Are
they
they
were in
immortal
hell.
now? Is Lisa immortal now? Now that
No,
he's gonna
oh,
run
she
first
may
like
be.
Kung Fu?
Because they didn't fall into the Rebus, right? So they split up in
The Rebus. That's what it is. The Rebus.
And
Thank
so,
you.
and so they were hiding in their place in hell because one of the things she was supposed to be in hell, Satan was supposed to torture her, and he didn't out of love for Dracula. So they were in the corner, and so
Oh, is that
So-
explained in it?
yeah,
'Cause
that's
I
why they
missed
took. That's
that.
why they're always hugged up together because Dracula's been
Oh, I
longing
was
for
wondering
her.
why they were cowering the whole time.
Me
I
They
was
too,
weren't
me
cowering.
too.
They were just in their
Dracula,
place.
why?
Honestly,
They were
was that
just
in the
in their
video
place in
game? 'Cause
hell.
That wasn't in the show.
That's
Right,
in the
I
video
don't.
game. That's part of the
Yeah, I
story.
don't think that's really
Okay, that's
articulated
not-
in
that-
the
that-
series, right?
Exactly. That
That's
does help because I was like, why they in her old burn up house?
And I was
That's
still
what it
mad she
was.
was in hell. I was like, damn, why Lisa
No,
go to hell,
because she's
man?
married to Dracula.
Man, I'm gonna tell
You
my
wanna be
wife
with
like,
him.
hey, you better be careful.
No, I mean,
And then she
you
gonna
can
say,
be a good
I'm not
person,
a
but
watcher
you know,
of men.
like-
I'm not a watcher of men.
like hell's depending. Like there's a lot of definitions of hell, right? Like in Lucifer, I forgot which version of Christianity they say if you have any guilt when you die, you go to hell. So if you feel
Damn,
guilty
if you have
about
guilt,
That's
if you have any
harsh.
guilt in your soul, you go to hell. So you can be a really great person on your whole entire life and have a moment of guilt, and if you hold on to that, you go to hell. Because
Just not care. Just YOLO your whole
you
life.
have the YOLO, you have not
Okay.
care.
Damn, I
well,
ate
they
the
were
last
down
one.
to 20. So they were down to 20 and 25. So I guess that's a virtue.
Yeah.
You don't get it. All right, guys. So we talked ad nauseum. Let's rate this thing. For our bingies out there, we have a binge-worthy rating scale. At a 5, it is a full binge out. That means this is great. It fills you up. It's at the top in quality. And then we have a 4. That is a full meal. Now, a full meal isn't quite a binge out, but it was definitely satisfying. I would liken it to getting a B on a grade in school. Then we have what's called a mini meal. A mini meal is like, it's all right. It was edible, but I didn't. It ain't great. I think Cortney called it. It's a TV dinner, right? You're gonna eat that shit, but you ain't excited about it. And then we have what's called a snack. A snack is we're not really interested in this at all. It did not fill us up. We are not looking forward to another season. And then we have our one at a cringe-worthy, and that is Chuck. Why the hell did you recommend that I watch this?
Why y'all always put it on me?
I love that you put
Y'all
it
always put it on me.
Because you my cousin and I love you and I know you can take it, man. So we're gonna start with Syntell, man. How are you gonna rate Castlevania?
Okay, so I gave the first 2 seasons an absolute binge out. It was great. There was very few flaws regarding everything. Season 3 was a little bit slower to me regarding the tales of the beasts under the church and all of that. It was just slower. So it didn't come out the gates as quick and hard as fast as the first 2. But then season 4 was just amazing. It's all about the character arc. I love stories that deal with the people that are the best of the best, and or how they become the best of the best. And the Holy Trinity, as Will Court likes to call them, displayed that. I mean, all 3 of them, by the time the story's said and done, you're not walking up on them. No, nobody. And there's even some side characters that even displayed it as well, such as Isaac. That dude had hands. Like, let's not get it twisted. It took a whole army of demons to bring down. Oh my God, I forgot her name.
Carmilla.
Carmilla. She was dope.
Yeah,
dope,
he needed
dope,
every
dope,
single
dope.
one of those night creatures to take her out.
Yeah, and that whole "you don't deserve my blood" gave me chills. I felt that. I'm like, yes, that's how a soldier says it. You're not worthy of this battle. I love that. So that part to me, it tipped from a 5 to about a 4.5, but then I saw that and boosted it back up to an absolute binge out. I don't know what they're gonna do with season 5. It ended kind of wonky for me, but it didn't end so
it's over.
bad.
It's done.
It's done.
It's
Okay.
done, but
The
they
series
have
is done.
they have a new series in the works with Trevor and Cypher's grandson.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Richard
I mean, I'm gonna
Belmont.
watch it.
Richard's in the video games.
They've sold the franchise to me, so I'll be all on that. So the whole series, all the way through, even the small parts that didn't like completely knock it out the park, didn't diminish it enough from not receiving a complete binge out.
Giving the binge out?
Yeah, I'm giving it a binge out.
Okay. All right, Chuck, man. How you want to rate Castlevania?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm kind of tied to it because it was one of my titles in Netflix, and there's some bad blood there at some parts. But I think it's a full binge out. I think the animation got better. Powerhouse Animation came through. I like to see them do the spinoff with Richard Belmont. Warren Ellis is probably not coming back as the writer. He has sexual assault or harassment allegations against him right now, the writer behind it. So I think Netflix is probably they have a zero tolerance policy, so they may just get rid of him. And we'll see what happens after that. But I'm really excited about Powerhouse working on it and the other animation studio working on it. And I hope it's a good story. And also they're bringing a woman vampire hunter that's related to the Belmonts, but she's a distant change, and that's Maria. What's her name? Maria Ronaldo, and she's one of the video game characters, and she kind of looks like Bo Peep, but she's like a really badass vampire hunter. So it's gonna be those two together, a
Is
distant
Alucard
cousin of
in
him.
that?
Dracula.
Courtney has a crush on Alucard. We can see.
She does have a crush on Alucard. I don't know if they have Alucard or not. We don't know, but it's in the 19th century.
Okay.
He could still be there.
Yeah, technically he can still be there.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be there.
Yeah, but I give it a binge out. I give it a full binge out. I think it's
Okay.
worth watching.
Summer, we're gonna go to you. You're a guest. You heard the scale. How are you gonna rate Castlevania?
Oh, I loved it. I fucking loved it. 5 stars, 5 out of 5. It was, I mean, okay, first of all, I'll just start with the fact that I never binge anything, right? I don't have the time to watch shows. So when something actually hooks me, and then on top of that, gets me to watch it all the way to the end, like that's a high bar for me to reach. And I binged the shit out of this one. Like I just didn't stop watching it. I loved the characters. There was something for everyone. The fight scenes were incredible. They made you feel fucking powerful. I loved the animation. And like there's all types of identities too, and none of them were cheapened, right? There was all types of identities across the board, and all of them had rich, complex stories with interesting motivations. There was something deeper about the plot line, every character. I fucking loved it. Yeah, this is 5. Easy.
Cool.
Give me another.
Cool. So I'm gonna go. Season 1 and 2, it started off with a bang for me. I just freaking loved it. Season 3, they expanded on the characters that I like the sisters. I just thought their dynamic was so awesome, and I loved his overall arc from where we see him in season 2 to where we see him at the end of the series. And I thought even Hector was redeemable. At first I thought he was kind of a pansy ass, but by the end of the series, I was like, all right, this guy, he's so cool. He's okay. Now, what I was very impressed with was the animation. I just thought the characters looked so crisp. I was like, whoa. Netflix was like, it must have did well because Netflix was like, we're going to invest in this, or they got some great animators and didn't pay them shit. I don't know what it was.
Netflix doesn't do any internal development. It was an external company.
Okay.
It's the same company that did They're doing Masters of the Universe Revelations. And
really?
They did the Zeus one. What's the Zeus one we watched?
Oh, Blood of Zeus.
Blood of Zeus.
That bullshit.
They were the animators for Blood of Zeus, which had good animation.
Nah, this quality was way better than the Blood of Zeus.
That shit was cringe worthy. I think that's the only show we've ever given a cringe worthy.
Yeah, they were way better than that. And it was just like all the characters. Like I was looking at Isaac, his features was all sharp, and then I still noticed that with like all those bruises that she had from way back in the battle. Whenever they show her arms, it was visible. I just thought like this was so good. Now I bought it up. I had a problem with the ending. I just thought it was an easy way out to bring back Trevor and to bring back Dracula and Lisa, and I didn't enjoy it. But there were more things that were positive and good. I was gonna be petty because like I can be the king of petty sometimes, and I was gonna take it down a little because I didn't like it. But listening to you all in the conversation and all the characters, I couldn't do that. So I'm gonna give it a full binge out as well. And take us home, Cortney.
So for me, the mark of a good show is always the writing and the way the creators tell the story from the beginning to the end of the series. And I thought that every single character had a beautiful arc. Like their story was told to the extent that it needed to be told. There were no like plot holes, regardless of whether or not, we wanted Dracula and Lisa to be back. It was tied up, and for me, it wasn't necessarily too tidy. Like I was irritated. I was still irritated with them. They were there, but you know what I mean? Like I was still annoyed that like y'all just deadbeat parents. But I respected the journey that the creator took me on, and I enjoyed every single second. Hector was redeemed because like Randy, I was like, you're trash. You're a trash person, and I don't want to see anything more of you. When are you going to die? But by the end, I totally respected even Hector's journey. He grew up. He grew up in three of the seasons that he was in. He became a much more interesting character to follow. And I thought the same with like every single character, even Alucard. Yes, he's my favorite. He's badass, but he also had to learn, from the moment we saw him in season 3, when he was at the end of season 3, when he was laid up in his little childhood room with like his daddy's ring on the side. You know what I mean? Like it was a teenage boy discovering how to become a man. And this is the shit that you have to go through. You gotta man up. So ultimately, I think he did, even though like we saw those bodies lined up. It wasn't just Sumi and Taka, whatever the hell her name was. It was a bunch of folk. It was a bunch of folk lining the outside, and everybody had a journey. So it's got to be binge worthy. Although the top of season 4 was a little slow for me. Season 3 for me, I really kind of enjoyed where it was crazy, but where it went. But season 4, the top was a little slow. But I thought ultimately where it ended, when it got going, when they brought all the team back together, it was a beautiful ride, and I just love this series so much. So it is an absolute binge worthy.
All right, the mathematics is not that difficult for this one. We got five co-hosts. All get ready to five, so we're gonna rate it as a binge worthy. All right, Syntell, man, you got anything to say before we head out?
Man, I think this is the first 5 5s in a row. That's never been done, and I don't know if it can ever be done again because we're typically not a 5-man crew, but we have had an amazing.
Last
guest
time I
that
was on the
hopped
show, it was a full 5. I forgot what we watched though.
What
But
did we?
I-
What
It
was
was
that?
a
'Cause
Yeah, that was
Animation,
the
wasn't
first
it?
time.
that was the first 5 out of 5. I don't
Yeah.
remember which
I
one.
forgot what we watched
What
though.
did you remember? What you reviewed with us on?
It was an animation. What?
No idea what happened.
I can't recall.
It was.
I don't remember. We'll figure it
I
out.
don't remember.
Well, it was
Figure it
4
out.
5s out of 5. This was 5 5s out of 5. So
But-
I was just saying, I don't think I was there with that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you weren't
Oh,
there.
you weren't
You
there.
weren't there.
weren't
Yeah,
there.
you weren't
Yeah,
there.
you were.
That's
So
right.
this was the
We're-
first
we're
5
working.
5s out of the. Out
Oh
of that.
yeah, we broke the
There we go.
record today.
Yeah. So
We
you know, and
So let's mark it down.
that's what I'm saying. And
First
I just
5 out
wanted
of 5.
and I wanted to just thank our co-host and guest Summer for coming on board to allow this very rare thing to happen. This is like a blood moon kind of thing. It doesn't happen all the time. So when you see it, you know you gotta do a little hat tip to it. So
And
that's
it's
my
so
little comment.
rare to have.
Thank you for
it's
having
so
me.
rare and nice to have a second female voice on here because
You
a lot
should have
of
been here for
times it's
Bridgerton.
just
That's what we
me.
should have had you on. For.
Oh my God, we missed
Oh,
Bridgerton.
yeah.
Bridgerton. It was
Shit.
Bridgerton.
You a real
Can we
manish
redo
on
that one?
Bridgerton.
Can we redo it?
Listen,
Okay.
Was it
listen.
Bridgerton?
It was
Linda.
Can we give an
Bridgerton,
honorable
wasn't it?
mention to? Can we give an honorable mention to Hector's voice actor? I don't know who the fuck that man is, but goddamn, Hector's voice is
I
sexy.
think it's Theo
Ooh.
James. I think
Yo,
it's Theo James.
Isaac
I'm gonna have
Isaac
to
voice is
Google
dope
him.
too, though.
Theo
Was it
James
sexy,
Underworld
though?
series.
Was
Oh,
it
it was
sexy
sexy.
though,
He's real sexy.
Centel?
He's sexy
Was
in
it
real
sexy
life.
though?
Oh, it was
Courtney, you
confident.
got anything to say? You got anything? Any last words, man?
No, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, it's always amazing to have Summer join us. Like, so exciting. Thanks for jumping in. And again, I
Surprise.
love having a lady teammate, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just me out here like trugging along. The dude's like, no, you're wrong. No.
I got you. Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure. It was fun.
Summer. Boss man, you got anything to say before we head out?
Oh no, I'm good. It was a
No,
good show.
God
Good night.
bless
God
us.
is
Like, good
blessed.
night?
Good
I was
night.
about
God
to
is
say, I was
blessed.
like, like and good night.
Right. All right.
and
That
Dracula.
concludes our show for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we want to shout out to the amazing, the fabulous, the brilliant Digital Click, because all the artwork that you see, they do their best to help us to be our best. So if you're interested in any marketing campaigns or getting your image out there, go to digitalclick.com. Now, please follow us here on Twitch. And if you guys love what we are doing, please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link your account and subscribe to us using your Prime Gaming. And this isn't going to cost you 1 single cent, but it's going to mean the world to us. With that being said, as always, it's been a pleasure. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday, same back time, same back channel. We haven't decided what we're going to watch yet, so we'll keep you guys informed. And as always, everybody have a great night.